Hey guys, it's Janae. I've learned that some of you have recently realized that not only is the Concept 2 an awesome rowing machine, but there's built-in video games that are hidden inside the menu option. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the fish game and why it was invented and why it's super useful to us even as adults, even though it was created for kids. So the fish game was developed to help trick kids into learning things under the guise of little pixelated fish. They wanted to help kids understand how to connect to the erg, learn how to perform proper rowing technique without actually having them be out on the water all year round. So they developed the fish game. And it's actually really useful for us as adults too, whether it's as a warm-up or whether it's technique drills, because it helps us understand how the pressure that we apply to the rower changes the response that we get. So I like to think about it in terms of back squats. So if you think about loading up a barbell with 50% of your body weight, you might be able to knock out a huge set of reps. Maybe you could do 20, maybe you could do 30, but you're going to be able to repeat that without your legs tiring out very quickly. Whereas if you load up a barbell with 200% of your body weight, you may only be able to squat that once or twice, if you could even squat it at all. And there's a time and a place for both of those types of weights, depending on what your intended stimulus is of your workout, depending on what your goals are. So there's nothing wrong with either one of them. You're just going to use them in different times and places. It's the same idea with applying pressure to the rower. So when you're on your erg and when you're rowing, your legs are doing most of the work, which is why we say you're pushing with your legs, you're not pulling with your arms. Push, don't pull. And there's a time and a place for pushing really hard and applying lots of pressure and really driving through your legs versus maybe taking it a little bit easier on the pressure and not necessarily pushing super hard through your legs. And again, this is going to be similar to that back squat analogy where it's going to depend on what the intended stimulus of the workout is, maybe what the distance is, maybe what the time domain is. You're going to row differently for a 500-meter sprint than you would for a 5K more endurance type row. So the fish game lets you really play around with how the pressure that you apply gets a different response from the rower. So the idea of the game basically is you've got this little fish on the bottom of your screen, and you've got little fish and medium-sized fish that are swimming towards him, and you want your fish to eat those fish. But you don't want your fish to get eaten by the big shark with the big teeth. So in order to move your fish up and down the screen, you have to row. So you can take big, powerful strokes, really driving through your legs, applying a lot of pressure. That's going to float that fish all the way up to the top. Whereas if you back off the pressure a little bit, and you don't really focus on getting a really strong acceleration of the flywheel, the fish isn't going to go as high up. So you want your fish to be at a different level so that you can avoid the sharks and get to the food. And modulating the way that you're applying pressure is what's going to help move that fish up and down the monitor and hopefully avoid being eaten. So it's a neat drill to use for a warm-up. It's a neat drill just to play around with it if you're interested in learning more about how your body connects to the rower. If you've got any questions about push, don't pull, or stroke rate, or pressure, I know someone who really likes to talk about rowing and is more than happy to answer any of your questions, and you know where to find me because I don't really have anywhere else to go right now. So thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful. Talk to you soon.